All right, so we're diving deep today into the movie Cynic and their take on Hollywood. It's a fascinating look at the industry. It really makes you think.
Yeah, they don't hold back.
Not at all. And one of the things they highlight right off the bat is this idea that those mega budget blockbusters, the kind we used to think were untouchable, might actually be on the decline.
It's a bold claim.
It is, right?
Right.
But they back it up with some pretty compelling evidence. Did you know that box office numbers are actually the worst they've been since 2003?
I did see that. It's kind of wild when you think about it because ticket prices are through the roof.
Yeah.
And those production budgets, they're astronomical.
Exactly. So what's going on? What's causing this slump?
Well, the movie Cynic really digs into this concept called the theatrical window. It's basically the time a film exclusively plays in theaters before it goes to streaming or home video. And studios, they're shrinking this window more and more.
So they're prioritizing that initial burst of revenue from that opening weekend.
Exactly. They're all about those short-term gains. But
It makes you wonder about the long-term consequences, right?
absolutely. And it's not just about the money. I mean, the movie Cynic points out a pretty stark statistic. In 2019, 9 movies crossed that billion-dollar mark at the box office. But in 2023, there were only 2. That's a massive drop.
It is, and it makes you wonder, is it just because of streaming, or are audiences really starting to turn away from what Hollywood's been offering?
That's the big question, isn't it? Because the movie Cynic makes a strong case for the argument that it's not just streaming. They say the quality of blockbusters themselves has declined.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We're inundated with sequels and prequels and reboots. It's like they've forgotten how to tell original stories.
Totally. It feels like they're just relying on these pre-existing IPs,
Yep.
intellectual properties, instead of taking risks on something new.
It's like a conveyor belt, churning out the same old stuff. Right. And the movie Cynic even questioned whether this strategy is sustainable in the long run. I mean, are they shooting themselves in the foot by not investing in original ideas?
Well, look at what happened with Disney's Elemental and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Huge names built on nostalgia. But they underperformed. Maybe audiences are craving something more than just familiar names and flashy special effects.
That's a great point. Maybe it's time for Hollywood to shake things up a bit. And that's where studios like A24 come in, right? At least according to the movie Cynic.
Right. They seem to think so. A24, they're making waves with these critically acclaimed films, even on smaller budgets, like Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That movie blew everyone away.
It really did. It was such a unique and original film, and it proved that you don't need a massive budget to make something truly special.
Exactly. They focus on quality storytelling, unique voices. Maybe that's what the big studios need to learn from. Maybe that's the key to recapturing audience interest.
Okay, but let's talk about something a bit more controversial. Something the movie Cynic definitely doesn't shy away from. Virtue signaling in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, they go there.
They do. And they argue that it's actually hurting the industry, both in terms of public image and profitability. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a complex issue. I mean, the movie Cynic makes a valid point. When you feel like every movie is trying to push a message, it can alienate audiences. People go to the movies to be entertained, not lectured.
Exactly. And sometimes it feels like Hollywood is more concerned with appearing virtuous than actually telling a good story.
Right. Like it's more about checking boxes than creating something meaningful.
And we've seen some pretty cringy examples, haven't we? The movie Cynic brings up that Imagine video from back during the pandemic with all those celebrities singing from their mansions.
Oof, yeah, talk about tone deaf.
Right. It just felt so out of touch with what most people were going through. And then there was John Cena's apology to China, which felt more like damage control than anything else.
It's like they're prioritizing their image over their art.
Exactly. So the question is, can Hollywood find that balance? Can they be socially responsible without sacrificing the quality of their storytelling?
That's the million-dollar question, and one that the movie Cynic leaves us pondering.
They do. But they do offer some interesting insights. They actually praise Oppenheimer and Barbie as recent examples of films that struck that balance.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting because those films were successful, but in totally different ways.
Exactly. Oppenheimer was this thought-provoking historical drama, and Barbie was this fun, subversive take on a classic toy.
It's like they're showing that there's room for both.
Right. But the movie Cynic worries that studios might miss the point, that they'll see the success of Barbie and just churn out a bunch of toy-based movies.
Oh, I can see that happening.
Right. They're afraid studios will focus on replicating specific elements instead of learning the underlying lesson, which is to be original, to connect with audiences on a deeper level.
It's easy to misinterpret success, to chase trends without really understanding what resonated with people.
Exactly. And that brings up another important point. What can we as viewers do to encourage that kind of creative risk-taking? How can we support a more diverse and engaging film industry?
Well, we have more power than we realize. We vote with our wallets, with our attention, by supporting the films we believe in, by seeking out diverse voices and perspectives, and by demanding more from the entertainment industry. We can help shape a more vibrant and exciting cinematic landscape.
That's a great point. And speaking of supporting those voices, the movie Cynic really emphasizes the importance of independent filmmakers and studios like A24. They're the ones pushing those boundaries, taking those risks. What can we do to specifically support them?
Seek them out. Go to film festivals. Find those independent theaters. They're often hidden gems, showcasing those unique stories that might not hit the mainstream. And spread the word. Share your discoveries with friends. Write reviews online. Get those conversations going.
It's about being conscious consumers, isn't it? Thinking about where we spend our money and what kind of content we're promoting.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of word of mouth. Sharing a movie you loved with a friend, writing a thoughtful review, those actions can make a real difference.
They can. And it all ties back to this idea that we as viewers have a role to play in shaping the future of cinema. And speaking of shaping the future, the movie Cynic spends a good chunk of their analysis looking at the impact of social media and the internet on Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a whole new landscape.
It is. And they point out how the constant news cycle and information overload make it even harder for films to stand out. What are your thoughts on how filmmakers can adapt to this new media landscape?
Well, the old playbook just doesn't cut it anymore. Trailers and posters, that's not enough. Filmmakers need to engage with audiences online. Spark those conversations, generate buzz. Social media can be a powerful tool if used creatively.
That's a good point. And they also bring up this tricky issue of celebrity culture, which the movie Cynic argues can sometimes overshadow the films themselves.
Right. In the age of social media, celebrities are brands, and their personal lives often take center stage.
Exactly. So how can filmmakers and studios strike that balance between promoting their stars and making sure the focus remains on the film itself?
It's a tightrope walk, for sure. Celebrities can bring attention, but the story, the cinematic experience, that should always be at the forefront. It's about leveraging star power while highlighting the film's artistic merits.
That makes sense. And then the movie Cynic also expresses concern about the evolving business model of Hollywood and its impact on the types of films being produced.
Yeah. With streaming services and this pressure to appeal to everyone, there's this fear that studios are becoming risk-averse, favoring safe bets over bold and original projects.
Exactly. So how can filmmakers and studios balance that? The need for financial viability with the desire to create innovative and challenging cinema.
It's a classic dilemma. Studios need to be mindful of budgets, of course, but taking risks is often what leads to groundbreaking cinema. Studios can encourage innovation by supporting filmmakers with unique voices, creating spaces for experimentation, allowing filmmakers to push boundaries.
I like that, supporting those unique voices, giving them the space to experiment. That sounds like a good recipe for more vibrant and exciting cinematic landscape.
It does, doesn't it? And the movie Cynic seems to think that the future of cinema might lie in a hybrid model, where studios embrace both big-budget spectacles and smaller, more character-driven films.
That's an interesting idea. Could that be the key to a more diverse and sustainable industry? A place where both blockbusters and independent films can thrive?
It's a compelling vision. Imagine a world where we have both. The big, exciting spectacles alongside the intimate, character-driven stories. That would be something.
It would. And it would certainly give us, as viewers, a lot to look forward to. But that's a conversation for another time, perhaps, because we've got a lot more ground to cover in our deep dive into the movie Cynic.
We do. We've only just scratched the surface of these complex and fascinating issues facing Hollywood today.
We have. But before we delve deeper, let's take a moment to reflect. What are some of the key takeaways that have resonated with you so far?
For me, it's the reminder that the future of cinema is a collaborative effort. It's not just up to the studios or the filmmakers. We, as viewers, critics, even those of us just having these conversations, we all have a role to play. It really is fascinating how all these changes impact the business side of Hollywood. The movie Cynic really breaks it down. Those financial pressures studios are dealing with.
It's almost unbelievable how much these films cost to make. The movie Cynic mentioned the average budget for a top 20 film in 2019 was $140 million.
140
million, and that was before the pandemic hit, and production costs went even higher.
No wonder studios are so fixated on those opening weekend numbers. It's all about recouping those costs.
Right. I mean, with budgets that high, who wants to take a risk on a totally original story, which is exactly what the movie Cynic gets at, right?
Yeah.
They call these big budget films disposable products.
Yeah. They say the focus is all on short-term profit. not on creating something with lasting artistic impact.
It's a harsh assessment, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. Think about it. A lot of these blockbusters, it's all about the spectacle, not the substance.
Right. The marketing hype is insane. You feel like you have to see it right away, but then a few weeks later, it's on to the next big thing.
And we're left wondering, did we really connect with that film? Did it leave a lasting impression? Or was it just disposable?
Exactly. And that's where the movie cynic sees studios like A24 as a breath of fresh air, a beacon of hope.
They do, don't they? They point to A24's success with Talk to Me to show that you don't need a massive budget to make a truly great film.
And they're right. Talk to Me got incredible reviews, did really well at the box office, and it was all done on a relatively small budget.
It's proof that audiences are hungry for something different, something more than just explosions and CGI.
Exactly. A24 focuses on strong storytelling, unique voices. Maybe that's the lesson the big studios need to learn. Maybe that's the key to bringing audiences back, to really captivating them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. But we can't talk about Hollywood today without addressing the elephant in the room, streaming services.
Oh, yeah. They've completely changed the game, haven't they? How we watch movies, how we consume entertainment, everything.
Totally. But the movie cynic raises an interesting point. They argue that studios might be shooting themselves in the foot by shortening those theatrical windows to prioritize streaming releases.